Welcome to Moralis, everyone. In this video, we're going to do something super cool. We're going to be building a simple portfolio app which showcases your ERC20 tokens in your wallet with all sorts of information: the token logo, the token name, the token price, the value, the 24-hour percentage change, plus minus, all of that with only one single API call. And this is a demo to showcase the newest Moralis endpoint, which has a very long name, and it's called GetERC20 Token Balances with Prices by Wallet. It is a very long name, but it is a super cool and unique endpoint in the world of blockchain developer tools. And as you can see here in the response, you get so much in this balance call. You input a wallet address and you get back all of this information for the balances. And this is everything you need in order to build a simple portfolio dapp that shows the balance in ERC20 tokens and all of the info that you will need in order to build a portfolio app or a wallet app. And it looks, the final result, something like this. And I know. This doesn't look super nice. It's very simple. But the point of this video is not to show you how to build the super fancy wallet portfolio app. It's to show you that all of this was done with a single API call. And it doesn't matter if you have 5 tokens in your wallet or if you have 50 tokens in your wallet, it's still just one API call to get all of this data. And up here in this beautiful input box, you can input whatever address you want, and it would showcase all of the assets in that wallet. So if you're interested in taking our newest endpoint for a little spin and learn how to build this in only a few minutes, to be honest, make sure to follow along in this video. If you want to check out the finished application, you can check out the GitHub link in the description below, and you can fire that up and start playing around with that. As always, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and that you like the video if you like it. Leave a comment down below telling me which was the best part and what would you like to see me do in the next video. With that being said, let's get into the video. We're going to start inside of Visual Studio Code or whatever editor that you prefer to use. And we're going to start by initiating a new React application using the create React app script. So you're going to need to have Node installed, Node.js and npm. So we're going to run npx create-react-app and then the name of the app. So we can call it portfolio demo. And yeah, I've already created a folder here called YouTube Portfolio Demo, and inside of that I put my React app. So you need to navigate to that first before you run the npx command, unless you you need to navigate to whatever folder you want to have it inside of. And this will generate everything that we need in order to get started, like a very simple React boilerplate. And while this is loading, you can also go and get you a Moralis API key if you don't have that already, because you're going to need one. And for that, you need to go to admin.moralis.io and sign up for a Moralis account. And then go into your default project, go to settings, and here you want to copy your API key. And this first one, default one, will do. And what we're going to do with this key, and we can already start with that, is in the root directory, create a new file that's called .env. And in here, we're going to put React_app_Moralis_API_key. In React, for the environmental variables, you always need to start with React_app. So you'll save that. And I could also mention here that this API key will get exposed in your front end in this case. So that depends on if you're comfortable with that. Anyone can then grab your API key, similar to what they can do with like your node URL. If you have an RPC node in your front end, they can grab that and they will be able to query things based on that API key. Depending on your application, that might not be ideal. But if you don't want to do it this way, then you need to build a backend service as well. So for the sake of this small little demo, we're going to have it in the front end. While that is saved, you want to go into app.js, and here's what we're going to do most of the work. And by the way, we can try to run this already now. So if you run it with npm start, and this will start up. Oops, let's see. I need to run maybe npm install. and then we can run npm start. Oh shit, I haven't navigated into the right folder. npm npm cd portfolio demo. Now we can run npm start. And there we go. This is what this initial little app looks like. So we're going to edit app.js and then go from there. And we're going to start at the top of this app function, and then we'll get down to the HTML eventually. But we'll start with how we're going to fetch our assets. And we're going to need two states to keep track of here in React. Assets and set assets. And that will be the array of tokens that the wallet has. And then we're also going to need the address of the wallet that we want to check, because we'll also have an input for that. We'll call that address. And here, or sorry, this is not an array, this will be a string of a wallet address, like the default wallet address that we want to use. We can fill in that later. Or you actually you don't need the default either, you could leave it empty. And then we want to create a function for fetching assets. We'll call it fetch assets, and this is going to be async. It's going to take an address as input. And then in here, we're going to do try catch. In case we run into an error, we want to handle it. And inside of this try block, we want to call Moralis to fetch the ERC20 tokens and all of the related metadata of this address. So response is going to be await fetch. And here we're going to have the Moralis URL, and we'll get that in a second. And then the second option here is some options, which we're going to need, for example, to specify the method, which is going to be get, and then also the headers, which we'll need for authentication, and also to set the content type. So content type is application/JSON, and then we're going to have our x-API key, like so. And this is going to be our environmental variable. So process.env dot whatever we put in the env file, copy that over to here. And by the way, if you don't want to follow along, you just want to clone the finished repo, that's also available in the description below. So you can get that if you don't want to code along yourself. But I do recommend you to code along yourself, because you'll learn a lot more. Application, there we go. And then we'll go into the Moralis documentation to get the URL for this endpoint that we're going to use. And if you go to Web3 APIs, we can click our way to the documentation. And here we're going to go to the token API, or sorry, no, wallet API, get tokens, get ERC20 token balances with prices by wallet. And we're going to here, we can configure the request here. For example, we want to exclude spam, true, and we want to exclude unverified contracts, true. This will update the URL here. And I think that's everything that we need. Yep. We'll copy the main URL, go back into our application and put that in here as our URL. Now this contains just a default wallet address by from the start. So we're going to change that into there we go, into the inputted address into this function. I'm just going to change the brackets here so we can input the address in there. You need these weird brackets, not sure what they're called. There we go. Oops, let me pull this down a bit. There we go. So we've made the fetch call, and then we now just need to process the results and update it into our assets state. And we're going to extract the data by running response.json as a function that will get us a JSON representation of the response. And then finally here, we're going to run the set assets function and with data.result. And once again, if you go back to our docs and if you run this function, you can see that the actual list of tokens comes in the data results results something, whatever you call that property. There we go. And if there is an error, we're just gonna console.error error fetching assets, and we're gonna include the error. And that's really everything we need to do in order to fetch assets. And all we need to do now is to input the address that we want to use, and then build the HTML. And let's just set this address to something by default for now. So let's grab some address that you want to check, and let's just replace that for now. So we have just a static address. I'm going to use this one. Oh yeah, also we're going to need to have a use effects call, so that we'll run this when we launch our page. And when we launch the page, we want to run fetch assets. And we don't really need to pass in any address for now. It doesn't matter. We'll see if we do that later, if we pass in an address here. Or we can just remove it. We might just do this one as a static one. We'll remove that there. We'll remove that there. Bam. And there's a second argument here, which is just an empty array in this case. Oh, now I realize what's wrong with this. We never imported those. So we need to import React and use state and use effect from React. That should solve those issues. Yes. There we go. And now I believe we can move on to the actual HTML. And we're going to remove everything from within this app, I think. Yeah, let's remove all of that. Start from a clean slate. We'll put an H1 at the top. My crypto portfolio. And then we'll put a div here. And or we can just do a table here. No. There we go. And that's going to be our table with our portfolio. And we'll start with the table header, t-head. And in here we need a table row. And then we need table head elements for all of our column headers. And that's going to be logo, and we'll just paste in like so, and we're going to do name, price, value, 24-hour change, or maybe we'll just do 24-hour change like so, and that's it. That is all we need. And then we need a table body. And for this, we're now going to use our assets array. So we'll do assets map. And this will basically iterate through every asset in that array. And for each of it, it will we're going to do one table row. And each row, we're going to need a key. And for that, we'll use the token address of the token. It will kind of be like the identifier. And in that table row, we're going to have all of our columns. And here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And by the way, the properties that are available on this asset object are the ones that you can see in our documentation also, all of these. So that's where I got token address from. We're going to use the symbol, the name, the logo, or maybe the thumbnail because that's smaller. And for this column here, we're going to put an image. So this will be the token image. And the source will be the asset.thumbnail. And then we'll put a class name on this What are we gonna call it? We'll call it asset logo. And don't need this closing tag. We'll just put it like so. And then for the next one, we're just gonna do asset.name. That's gonna be the token name. I'll just paste this in here. And this one will be USD underscore price. This one will be USD underscore value. And the last one, which is 24-hour change, will be USD. Well, can I copy this from the docs? It will be this one, USD price 24-hour USD change, or no, percent change. We want to use percent change. 24-hour percent change. I'll put that in there. Boom. And we'll save that. And that should do it for a very basic table. Then we'll go ahead and we'll improve it a little bit, second iteration, but this should kind of work. Logo is defined but never used. Where did I put logo? Oh, we don't need that. Okay, we also need an alt property for the image. Alt, we'll put that as the token name, asset.name. I think that's it. Yeah. All right. With that, we'll check this out, see if it works. Whoop. What did we screw up? 401. Let's see, maybe I'm not sure if we saved our API key after we started. Let's see if we restart this, because I'm not sure if we saved our env after we launched. Because if you update the env file, you need to restart the React script. No. So for some reason we're getting unauthorized error. I'm not sure exactly why. Oh, I see why. The env file is outside of my portfolio demo folder. That's because I have two folders here, also a bit unnecessary. But now if we restart, it should work. Boom. There we go. That works perfectly. It's not the prettiest, but we'll sort that out. And we can see that we need to sort out the decimals, maybe some coloring here. Awesome. Let's style this thing up a bit. We'll remove everything except for app. There we go. We'll keep that. We'll add a bit of margin to the whole thing because we're going to center this whole thing. So 20 pixels at the top and bottom, 160 pixels to the sides. And then we're going to make our table 100% width. And then for all of our cells, meaning TH and TD, we're going to put text align left. We're going to do some padding, 14 pixels, 8 pixels, and then border bottom will be 1 pixel solid, and we'll do some gray here. DDD. Bam. And for the header, well, we can do some coloring for that later. The asset logo, we'll put that as 40 by 40. Oops. And this should already clean this up quite a lot. Maybe we'll also put the app or we'll put the whole body. So we'll do body and HTML, margin 0, padding 0. We'll do background color here I have my favorite background color, 06111D. That is the Moralis money background color. Why are you complaining? Oh. And then we'll do white color for the text. We'll go back. Oh man, look at this. Already so much better. We gotta figure out how to round these out, so we'll just have 2 decimals or something. And for that, we'll use 2 fixed. So for all of these price, value, and change, which are the ones affected, we'll do question mark dot 2 fixed 2. So that will turn that into a string with 2 decimals. Boom, boom. And we'll use the question mark in case the first time we load this table, we won't have any assets. So this will be undefined, and we cannot do dot 2 fixed on undefined. So we'll need that question mark there. Check if that worked. There we go. Beautiful. We also need to add percentage in front or after this. Percentage. We'll put that here, I guess. Boom. We can also make this red or green based on if it's positive or negative. For that, we need to add a class to this TD element. So we'll do class name, and then based on the USD percentage change, so if that is smaller than 0, then we'll put this as negative, and otherwise we'll put it at positive. That should do it. Then we just need to add CSS classes for negative and positive. Positive, we'll do color is going to be, you can just put, you know, green. That's not going to be the nicest green, but dot negative, color red. I happen to know some nicer greens and reds, so we'll use 4F BF67. And then for red, we'll use FF5C5C. And this I just know from playing around with this before. We'll check that out. There we go. And of course, change a lot of things to make this look nicer. You can change the font, you can add a bunch of different styling. But overall, this is basically it. Now, what we can do, we can add an input field so that we can query other addresses. We'll add that to the top here, just so I'll show you how to do it. So at the top of our form, we'll add an input field. So in here, we'll put input, and it will be type text, value will be something we call address. We'll set that state later. On change, we're gonna need a function for that. We'll do handle input change, and then we're gonna have a placeholder which is enter wallet address. All right. And once again, we can remove this closing element. We'll just put slash here like so. And then we're gonna have a button to re-query the API. So button on click, oops. Then we're gonna run handle button click, which we'll also need to define. And we'll put here fetch assets. Boom, so then we'll need another state, which was this one I alluded to before. And then we can put our default address. We'll put that up here. And once again, we'll introduce the address parameter here and use that inside here, address. And now we need to set the address. So whenever we have a change in the input, which is handle input change, we need to call and set the state. So const handle input change is equal to, or a function with the event, and then in here we'll put set address with e.target.value. So that will give us the value of the input field. And then finally we copy this and create, we copy this and we create handle button, what did we call it? Button click. And here, when we press the button, we're gonna call fetch address, fetch assets with the address in the input field, which is this one. And we have inputted it here, boom, boom, boom. And now also, when we use this here, use effects, the first time we call fetch assets, we're also going to need to pass in the default address, which is going to be this address. We'll pass that in there. And for that, we need to add a dependency here into the use effects function, which is address. Boom. Let's try it out. Oh, what a beautiful input field. So now you can enter any address here, click fetch assets, and it would rerun the whole thing. Let's see if I can grab another address. So I have the Vitalik address, put that here, fetch assets. This is going to take a bit longer because he has a lot of tokens. Now it doesn't look as nice because there's many tokens without logos. This though is changing soon. So in maybe 3-4 weeks from recording this, we're going to have all of these shitcoin logos as well. And that will make it look a lot nicer in the API. Yeah, with a bit of a smaller portfolio with normal tokens, it looks very, very good. And soon that's going to be across the board. And all of this was just done with a single API call to get all of this data. If you were to use any other provider, you would have used most likely thousands of API calls if you're fetching a large wallet. If you're fetching a small wallet, then it would be maybe 20, 30 API calls, something like that. Moralis, just a single one. And imagine if you're trying to scale that, you build a large application, then having these endpoints with lots of data, lots of richness into them makes a big difference. Now, you can check out the finished GitHub repository using the link in the description. And in case you run into any issues, make sure that you either join our Discord and ask there. You can go to moralis.io/join Discord or click the link in the description. Also, if you're having issues, you can check out the GitHub link below and you can compare against that code to see maybe if there is something that you missed, or you can just clone that in totality and work from there and maybe improve this. Add things like NFTs or add other chains. This is just ETH for now. You can do a lot of different things with the Moralis APIs. So make sure that you not only explore this API, but you explore all of the possible APIs that Moralis offers, including, as I said, the NFT API, token API, blockchain API. We have real-time data with streams. We have market data, like why did it move, Discovery API. That means all of these APIs can help you discover tokens. They can help you build token explorers. They can help you deliver news feeds into your application or bring things like top collections, top tokens, gainers, losers, a lot of interesting things. So make sure to check that out if you're building in the blockchain and crypto space. And thank you for watching, and leave a comment down below if you enjoyed this video or if you have any questions. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.